Here's a review on using longitude and latitude to locate specific points on a map. Latitude lines, they go horizontally, like 45 degrees north, 40 degrees north, 35 degrees north, 30 degrees north. Longitude lines go vertical, up and down. Remember, latitude, flat, flat, flat. Longitude are long lines that go up and down. And if I wanted to locate a city or a location, you first want to start with the latitude. Let's say that I was trying to find the location for Denver. I noticed that it's just beneath this line here. And so you can kind of trace your finger across that line. And you'll notice that it's just beneath 40 degrees. So I would approximate that to be about 39 degrees. And we're looking at north because there's an N right next to it. It's telling you that we're in the north latitude. Then if I was going to go and look at my longitude line, I start right here. And I go straight up to 105 degrees west. Where these two lines are meeting is showing me where Denver is. If I'm trying to locate let's try a different one. How about Memphis? Same idea. I'll start at Memphis and I'm going to do my latitude first. It's located right on this line here, which, as you can see, is 35 degrees north. Then it's just a little bit to the right of 90, so I'll stay right about 90. It's right about 90 west, or just a little bit east of it. Now, as you can see, Memphis is just touching 90, or maybe a little bit to the right, which is a little bit to the east. So you could say either 89 or 90, since it's just a little bit on this side here. Miami, if I start right here and go all the way across, it's going to be a little bit south of 30, but it's not quite 35. You see this black line here is 35. Up here is 30, up here is 35. Miami is much closer to 35, so you would approximate that to be about 34, since it's much closer to the 35 than it is to this 30. And that's the latitude. For longitude, I would start right here. See, and notice that the red dot for Miami is just a little bit to the left here. So I would go straight up, just a little bit to the left. Trace that line all the way up. And you don't have to actually trace it unless you had pencil and paper, but this is just what you can do with your finger. What I'm doing with the pen on here, you can just trace it up with your finger, or just look at that line and walk it all the way up. It's just to the west of 80, or to the left of 80. So it wouldn't be 80 right in the dot. We're a little bit over. So I'd approximate that to be 81. Now let's say you were trying to place a dot at a certain location. And let's say I gave you a location of 43 degrees north and 107 degrees west. First, I would need to locate where is 43 degrees north. So here, this line is 40. Here's 45. So it would be just a little bit more than halfway. And if I'm going to try to locate where this exact location is, I would first just bring my finger across to 43 degrees. And then I would look up here and try to find where 107 is. 107 is in between 105 and 110, right about here. So right where these dots, where these two lines meet, my latitude line, my longitude line, I find where these two places are. And you can even use your finger visually to draw them both together here in this imaginary line. Your left finger in your left hand and finger in your right hand, and where they meet is going to be your exact location of 43 degrees north and 107 degrees west. Let me give you a few examples to try on your own. First of all, let's go. How about, what is the city of Los Angeles? Its latitude and longitude location. Here's Los Angeles right here. And how about Philadelphia? Right here. Look at this red dot. What is the latitude and longitude location of Philadelphia? And you won't be able to draw anything on here, but I want you to at least, with your fingers, locate 47 degrees north, 88 degrees west. And just touch the screen on where those two lines come together. And I'll show you where 47 and 88 are. First, I start with 47. Here's 45. I go up just a little bit, and I would just trace my finger across 47, basically like this. And then where does 88 touch 47? Here's 85 and 90. It's going to be a little bit closer to 90. Right about right here. So if this is where, around the area where you were pointing to, then you are correct. Let's do one more practice just like that. How about 32 degrees north and 104 degrees west? Go ahead and point, and I will show you the correct answer in a second. All right, so first of all, let's start with 32 degrees north. Here's 30, here's 35. I go a little bit in between, and I trace my line across to a certain point. Then I look for, where does 104 meet 32? So here's 100, here's 105. 104 should be right next to 105. I know it's not the straightest line, but you get the idea. And right where those two lines meet, so your green line should be your right finger that's coming down, and your red line should be your left finger. As you bring those two fingers across, they should meet at a certain point. This is where you should have touched on the screen for where 32 and 104 degrees is. If you need help, you can retake this video and try again.